If God is for us, then who is against us? Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize.
Welcome to the Wealth Mindset with J.D. Garnier. Listen, I hope you're having a productive week in your wealth creation journey as always. And my goal is simple. It's not to help you build wealth. It's not to help you accumulate wealth. It's to help you walk in wealth, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. To take the things that God has already given you and use those to create a life of purpose so that wealth is more than just what you acquire. Wealth is who you become. You are the wealth. It's not your real estate. It's not your investments. It's not your business. It's you. And before you have any of those things, you have a unique and specific set of talents, abilities, gifts, ideas, habits, disciplines, and inclinations that form the basis of everything that you do in this world. And once you tap into that, you build wealth in your life. So again, you are the wealth. Listen, first things first, please follow me on all social media platforms under J.D. Garnier or J.D. Garnier Sr. You can also go to my website, www.jdgarnier.com, and please purchase my brand new book, The Art of Diversity Selling, How to Transcend Societal Differences in Business. This book is my personal journey in business and sales, and I know for a fact that it's going to help somebody that is trying to find their way professionally and just don't know where to go. So please purchase my book. You can get it on my website, jdgarnier.com, or you can purchase it directly on Amazon. I look forward to sharing that with you. Now, let's get into it. Listen, life is math. I tell my kids that every single day. Life is nothing but a numerical equation. Every decision you make is a mathematical calculation. What time you wake up is calculated by what time you go to work, which is determined by what you do for work, which is based on the sum total of your skills and abilities, which are multiplied by your work and your effort, which translate into your economic value, which is reflected in the form of your paycheck, which determines your income, with which you subtract your expenses, which establishes your cash flow and ultimately your net worth. Your life is math. Every consideration in that decision is a mathematical equation. What is the cost? And whether you realize it or not, you are constantly adding, subtracting, and multiplying life in your head at every moment. Decisions that you make about time, money, food, relationships, etc., are all calculated decisions. So life is math. Every decision you make requires you to use your understanding of logic, numbers, and equations to make the best decisions possible for your life. With one exception. The only decision we make in life that does not take numbers into consideration is an emotional decision. Most times when we make emotional decisions, they don't make any sense. An emotional decision is completely illogical. When we're angry, when we hurt, when we're tempted, when we're aroused, we are not thinking about money. Our decision is not calculated. It is irrespective of numbers. Emotional decisions are purely based on how we feel. And the unfortunate outcome is that it usually costs us. One time I got so mad after a pickup basketball game that I punched the wall. I broke my hand and it cost me the season. One time in the mall, I saw this pair of shoes that were extremely popular at the time. The salesperson convinced me how good they looked, and I bought them, and I knew I couldn't afford them. Emotional decision. And so the very first economic principle that you need to understand is not to make decisions based on emotions, to separate your feelings from your finances. Never make financial decisions based on how you feel. See, when institutions and endowments invest billions of dollars, those decisions are not based on any individual emotions. They're not based on opinions. They're not based on gut feelings. Those institutions make decisions based on a plan and an intended outcome. So it don't matter how they feel. The money is based on the objective. The strategy is dictated by an objective. So when it comes to your personal life, the decisions that you make about your money should be based on your personal objective, your purpose. And what happens is the daily mathematical decisions that you make, like when you wake up and how much time you dedicate to certain tasks, start to align with that objective. Life is math. I believe this so much, I make my kids do math problems every day. And so the question is, how do we put the numbers in our favor? If life is math, how do you put the numbers in your favor? How do you make the numbers work? When it comes to wealth, the absolute and ultimate way to put the numbers in your favor is by using the principle of compound interest. See, the word compound means to put together. And in math, it means that you earn interest not only on your principal, but also on the previous interest payments that you earned. Mathematically, this creates a snowball effect that allows money to see large, long-term growth depending on the average rate of return that you get. Depending on that rate of return, compound interest can create exponential returns over time. That's how you put the numbers in your favor. Now, I know that sounds simple, but we throw around all of these strategies and ideas and investment opportunities, but most people don't even understand basic math. If you invest, first of all, I think everybody should be saving and investing at least 20% of your income. That means if you make $50,000 a year, you should be trying to put away $10,000 a year. That's $800 a month. But if you invest $10,000 at 9% interest annually, at the end of that year, you're going to have $10,900. You earn 9% on that. Then if you do that again the next year, you're going to have almost $12,000. Because what happens is you earn interest not only on your principal, but on the additional interest that you earned. And if that continues, you double your money in 8 years without adding anything else. That's the principle of compounding. If you take $10,000 and invest that for 10 years at 9%, you've invested $100,000, but you're going to end up with $190,000. You do that same $10,000 for 20 years at 9%, you've invested $200,000, but you'll end up with over $600,000. If you do that same $10,000 for 25 years at 9%, you've invested $250,000, but you have over $1 million. That's $1 million at $800 a month. That's compound interest. It compounds and builds upon itself and grows with time and momentum. When you are compounding, you are using the numbers that have been given to you in your favor. That's why owning assets is so important. Those assets provide income and appreciation that give you a numerical rate of return. One of the only ways to build wealth is to buy assets. That's up to you to determine what you buy. Real estate, stocks, bonds, gold, energy, international, commodities, crypto, alternatives, hedge funds. The more risk you take, the bigger the reward. You don't get a reward for cash because cash has no risk attached to it. You're not being compensated for anything. Your rate of return is compensation for the risk that you are taking. The bigger the risk, the bigger the return. And so what happens is over time, as you buy assets, they continue to compound. They continue to increase in value, earn interest and dividends and appreciation. And you build wealth by buying assets and allowing them to continuously build upon one another. Compound interest. Now, the thing about compounding is that as much as it applies to the numbers when it comes to our investment returns, it also applies to our lives. Whatever we invest our time in, our energy, our efforts, compound over time. Whatever we commit ourselves to, compound over time. The more that you perfect and specialize and dominate in a specific area, that creates a multiplier effect that impacts everything around you, and it compounds over time. And so before you own and possess physical assets, you can apply that same mathematical principle to your life. Discover your purpose, follow your passion, and immerse yourself in the day-to-day requirements to master your craft. And I guarantee that those efforts will compound over time and give you exponential returns. That is how you create wealth.